I don't know why. Every time I do a pine tree, I feel like I have to relearn everything. So this tutorial, we're gonna dial in on what makes a pine tree different than kind of other trees. So we have a 4-color palette up. We'll just slide it somewhere over here. We'll start making a tree here. Usually most of my color palettes for smaller things, they consist of 4 colors. I'm not strict with that. Sometimes I do more, but 4 base colors. So this tree will have 4 base colors. And we have a dark green, and we slowly go up to lighter green. So let's get the shape. There's many ways you can do this, but let's get the main shape, the main silhouette. Let's just draw a straight line, however tall you want. This will be about, let's see, about 70 pixels or so. And then I'm going to use the D tool. I'm going to click D to go on contour tool. When contour is if you just draw something, it fills in the center. If you don't connect it to the end, it will just fill it in from the end point, draw a line. So this is really helpful, especially with drawing quicker. So what we're going to do is just draw a little branch at the bottom here. We're going to make sure this initial one looks decent, and if you're happy with it, you can grab it, let's copy it, and paste it down at the bottom. And there's different ways you can do this. You can try drawing the whole silhouette, and just, especially if you have a pen, which right now I'm on a mouse, and you can just go all around and then do this side. Like so, and you got a pretty solid foundation, but I feel like it lacks a bit unless you're really good with using a mouse or a pen. But I like to simplify it and just make one shape that you can just add. You can warp each one by using these tiny squares, just clicking here and there, and you can just keep copying and pasting them and make the tree however you want. You can even put one there, and you can just build it up. To me, this is much easier than trying to perfect the silhouette, hand drawing it right away. Let's just make a little one there, and let's do an even smaller one, maybe even get something down here, and we'll just keep placing them thicker at the bottom. And this tree will be more of a painterly, mimic kind of a painting style. And I think once we get closer to the top, we can start hand bombing them, hand drawing them. Something that really sells the tree is just one little touch towards the end. Let's just keep making our way to the top. Maybe the top's coming in, and this is okay. I can see some funny looking ones here. Let's just delete some of that, make one there, maybe one here, fill in these little gaps, and now you're starting to have a shape of a tree that looks okay. And one thing, you can shift a bunch of branches at once. Sometimes I like to experiment them going up or going down. I think trees do that in the winter. They're droopy. I could be wrong. And then in the summer, they're a bit more pokey. And once you get a silhouette that's decent, you can go ahead and add a shadow. Grab a color, and this just helps sell the perspective of the tree. Helps kind of visualize where it's going to be. So let's just reposition this. Maybe we want more top-down-ish, not straight up. And we're going to be constantly changing pieces as we go. So don't worry if the area looks odd, but I think that's okay start to the silhouette. Maybe make it come out a bit more at the bottom here. But to me, I'd say that looks like a pine tree silhouette. Maybe not perfect, but pretty close. So now let's start on the second color. And with this color, I think I'm gonna do more on the left side and bigger chunks at the bottom. And then as we go higher, we will have smaller chunks. And on the right side, less brighter. So I think that's the goal now. So let's just start maybe at the top, and we can go block alpha. So that way we don't ruin the silhouette shape of this tree. And let's just do these little chunks as we go down the tree, and you don't need to follow them. You could say you want one right here, say that one's like behind it or so, or something, and you can have this one come in here, and then let's build a chunk down here, and then as we get lower, maybe a bigger one here, maybe that one's kind of in the background, and then let's do quite a big one here, I think, coming out, maybe a smaller one in between, and a small chunk down here. Then let's wrap around and do a big one here, and we're gonna tidy this up a bit, so just bear with me. And then let's start filling in the middle as well, as that's a very important part. Zoom in and look at the preview page over here constantly. Another big chunk. Let's do some smaller ones here, just filling in this dark space. And it looks okay. Right now we need to trust the process and keep chugging along. So this middle part, I think once we add the second color, or I should say third, things will start looking better and taking shape a bit more. And then there's one little trick that I really enjoy, and it really sells the pine tree in the winter vibe, and it's not the snow, so just stay tuned for that. And right now I'm just taking that next color and I'm just adding it to each branch, just adding a bit more color to it, making them pop a bit more. And this one can go quite a bit on the right side, but I think we want to avoid the left side, the right side with the final color, the highlight of it all. We'll avoid it a bit more. And now if we zoom out, we're starting to look like a tree. It's looking like a pine tree. So what we can do now is add the highlights, and then we will work on the little trick that I think really sells. So with the highlight, let's just be careful with this one and kind of go on the top of these. Maybe some of them can come a bit more, and this is primarily going to be on the left side here. So let's keep chugging along, adding these highlights, and then one of the final steps, maybe not over there, maybe this center one, that's one, and over here, maybe none over there. So now we got pretty solid shape. I see some areas that we should fill in a bit. I think like right here could use a little branch or something. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And we're gonna even add another color here, and we'll zoom out and kind of look over here. I feel, yeah, right up here, kind of lacking a little bit. So let's take this color, go on our contour tool, and start shaping it here. And then let's just add a little bit of separation to these so it stands out a bit more. Then I think we're in decent shape here, and I think we can move on to this final step here. And this is, I think, what really ties everything together. And it's quite simple, and it's basically just, we'll start off with this dark color, adding these kind of lines, droopy lines that they can mimic maybe pine cones or pieces of it just drooping down. And we'll start off with this color, and then we'll even add, maybe looking over here at the preview, just kind of still getting that shape in. And maybe I don't like that one. That one looked okay like that. Maybe this one wants one there, and that's looking okay. Maybe we'll move this over. Wasn't the right spot. And now we've done the outside, and it looks pretty good. We can still shape things, figure it out, but we can also add these lines to each branch by bringing some down and shaping these branches to do the same thing, so they look like they're drooping as well. And you can do that with the dark color in the background here as well. And it really does, in my opinion, and something maybe I might have been missing all these years ago, was these small little details. And look at that, see the section that we've done, how much cleaner it looks. And that's the big reason why I wanted to do this tutorial, is so I can share it with everyone, and selfishly, so I don't forget, and years down the road when I'm doing some pine trees again, I can look back to this and kind of remember my workflow and kind of build off of that. Potentially improve it, but for now, I'm quite happy with the results. And it's not a super long process. We're 20 minutes in and we got a bit more to go. Quite happy with it. So let's just keep tackling these small little things. Just kind of look for spots that might be missing them, droopiness. And I think this tree might be better than my first one, which is always good for showcasing a tutorial. And just a few more up at the top here. And then we can even add some snow, which is fairly simple. And this is where you can get really picky. And it depends on what the tree is going to be used in the game for. And what I mean by that is if this game, if the tree is like in a save area and it's like a big kind of statement piece in that area, I would spend more time on it. But if it's just a tree in, say, a village that you go through, it's not a huge part of the game, and you run by it a few times, I wouldn't spend as much time on it because no one's gonna see that or pay attention to it as much as you'd think. But if it's a tree in like a hub or something, I would spend a little bit more time kind of finalizing the details. And I think this is pretty good. Maybe zoom in and just find a couple more. Looks pretty good. You're always going to find some more as you go along, but that's okay. Something weird about this one, but I like it now. Maybe even lead some of these. That looks pretty good. And now we have this very nice looking pine tree. And we're 23 minutes in, and I really like the final outcome here. And we can compare it to the first version, and I think I like it better. Bit more droopy. I leaned into the droopy winter feel a bit more. So now let's grab our snow, make a new layer. We'll call it snow layer, and we will grab a snow color. And this is nice and relaxing. We can simply add snow onto a branch and then add it here. You can also make the snow droop, I think. That looks pretty cool. It's drooping through pine needles and looks really good. A simple final touch here, and we'll just kind of keep doing this. And I'm just on the top. It's basically covering the highlights of the green. Not completely, but mainly that. You can even put it on top, completely on top, just like that. And before you know it, pixel by pixel, you'll be done, like so. Now you have this beautiful pine tree in the winter. Now, if you're interested in kind of some icicle shapes like this, fairly simple as well. Once you get the workflow down, I can also make a tutorial on that in the future. So stay tuned for that if there's interest.